What is happening, y'all? We are back at it again with another video. We are reacting to Alex Hormozi 27 minutes of life-changing advice by himself and only himself. So, let's lock this shit in and let's get to this recording.
It is so easy to beat people today. They are so soft. They have no work ethic.
It is so easy to beat people today. It is so easy to beat people nowadays because they have no work ethic. They're so fucking soft where they don't even know what the fuck they're doing and who the fuck they're trying to become. Because the best version of yourself is the best version of yourself. Nobody can kill it. Nobody can beat it besides you. So that's why you have to lock in, do the things you say you're doing, and don't stop with that mental effort. And most importantly, allow other people to not dictate whatever it is you are truly going through. And whatever it is we are truly going through, they have no work ethic. It is so easy to beat people nowadays because there are too much of pussies, which I'm not reframing, which is why it's only 18 plus on my content. I don't keep my content whatever for kids. I don't make it for kids because that's how I got banned one time. So, for starters, it is so easy to beat people nowadays because they have no work ethic. They're so fucking soft, and they have no work ethic that truly describes what they are truly trying to believe, do, understand, or think. So let's continue.
No one can stick with anything. Everyone's distracted. They're on social media.
Everybody's distracted. They're on social media. They're counting their notifications because they are distracted by not the goal, by other things that are a pleasure within not the long term, but the short term.
Counting their notifications because they can't stick with.
They cannot stick with shit because they are distracted by the notifications, their phone, their video games. They're distracted by the main reason that are not making the goal, that are not making the amount of money that they should be making. If it's on school, if it's on your online business, whatever it is, you make money on something, but when you get distracted, you do not see the goal. You do not see that frame. You do not see the repetitions, which and when you are distracted, you get distracted from the goal, from the mindset, from the mentality. Because when you get distracted, you keep on trying to push your limits when you are distracted. Which don't push your limits when you get distracted. Only push your limits to where you see fit. So let's continue.
They can't say no.
And saying no is the only power that you have. You can say yes, you can say no, you can say maybe. But saying yes and no are the only things that are leading you to this point, that are leading you to this happenstance, that are leading you to this certain frame. And through this certain frame, we must understand that we are all trying to get better. Which means saying no is the only power that you have, so don't give the power to the other people that don't even give a flying fuck about you. Okay? So use with what you have. Use saying no and saying yes to things that you only want to say yes and no to.
Hard work is the goal. And so it's not like work hard so that X.
So, hard if hard work is the goal, and it's not like I'll work hard so that I get X, that I get an outcome, that I get something out of it. Hard work only matters when you have proof that backs it up, that keeps you pushing and persevering to become that better version. Because we are all trying to become that better version because we know who we are when we are that better version. Which means we're not completing the hard work to get X. So don't just play hard just to get X. An outcome, an opportunity, or a happenstance. You work hard at the goal, at the dream, at the mentality, because you know that you are worth more. And once you know that you are worth more, you can become what you are and what you crave. So let's continue.
Because as soon as you have a so that, then the X is the thing. But if the goal is to work,
And so that you have to work so you can get that X is the thing. But the goal is not to work. The goal is to work as hard as humanly possible. Because if you don't work hard, other people will beat you at the same game. Which we don't want that. We want everybody to win. We want ourselves to win. We want our friends to win. But we can only win once we become that better version. Once we become X. Which means X is the best part about what makes the hard work happen.
as hard as you possibly can, then the only real output we have is who we be.
It is hard because you can work as hard as you possibly can. The only real output we have is who we become along the way. So, we can change the version, we can change the happenstance, we can change everything within our lives, not within others, not within each other. Because we can only change the way that we look at, think, do, and act in our own way. So change what you are now. Change saying yes and saying no to. And only work as hard as humanly possible because you are changing that version. You are becoming that better version. Because it is all about who we become and what we have to do along the way.
Come along the way. The best days of my life were ones when I had nothing left in the tank.
Because when you have nothing left in the tank, you don't have more to say. You have nothing to say. You are bleeding your mouth and your eyes until you work till the end of time. Which is the only thing that real work really truly matters, is making sure that when you have nothing left in the tank, that is when you can quit. That is when you can stop. That is when you cannot keep on pushing forward because you have nothing left to go off of within the tank of whatever it is you're going off of.
And so then the goal becomes to empty the tank, not where I drive, but just to drive the car as hard as I possibly can.
And if you drive the car as hard as you possibly can, then nobody will see the failure as much as you see it within yourself. So don't drive the car off the cliff because you know you can drive the car as hard as humanly possible. You can do everything that is hard as humanly possible because that is your dream. That is your action. That is your goal-directed mindset.
Can. The sign of success is the hate that you get along the way.
I know this one. The sign of success is the hate you get along the way, so don't conform to the conformity of bending the knee to their liking. And through this liking, we must not bend the knee to their hate, because the sign of success is the hate that you get along the way. So don't bend the knee and pack the ball to their conformity of their own standards, because we all have our own standards. So don't bend the knee, don't bend the hate, because the sign is the success is the hate you get along the way. And if that sign does not give you any more freedom, any more captivity of what you can do, of what you can say, of how you can act, of what you can do. Because without knowing what you are with how you can be, it is different, and it is a lot harder to become that conformity.
And what you can't do is bend the knee to their hate and fit back into the conformity because it's comfortable.
And when you fit back into the conformity, that is where you break your standards. That is where you break your understanding. That is where you break your belief. So don't fit back into their own conformity because they have their own standards of their own conformity.
It's warm because you've been down that road and you know exactly where it leads. And I know that's not where you want to be. It's like the best way to guarantee to not have the life that you want is to do what everyone else is doing.
And if you follow what everybody else is doing, you are moving yourself forward within that rat race. You can't make it out of this rat race because you are too afraid, too scared, too stubborn to start that dream when you had your whole entire life to start it. You are working at a life that you hate, which means you are working at the life that you want to curate and dictate because that is the life that you are. That is the life that you want to be. That is the life that you want to change. That is the life that you are wanting to become. So don't change the life. Change your mind. Change your life now. Because if not, you'll keep on playing this character, playing this rat race, playing this person because you are so afraid. So don't follow the rat race. Follow your dreams, follow your goals, follow your passions, because that is what takes you away from the 9 to 5.
Unless you want what everyone else has, which no one does.
So think about it. People always are looking for the shortcut, but you have to accept a very simple truth, which is that the shortcut never actually takes you to the place that you're trying to go. And it's because it's rarely one big thing. There are a lot of shortcuts that exist.
I'll be right back. Because there are no shortcuts within this life. Even though that life exists in the vague and in the extreme, there are no shortcuts that can cut you off the path. What I mean by that is that there is no shortcuts, there's no pitfalls. The only thing that you fall over is with your pride, anxiety, and depression. There is no pitfalls, there's only shortcomings.
In life. And everyone already uses those. And so whenever an actual shortcut gets found, all humans immediately do it, and it no longer
becomes a shortcut because all humans immediately do it, and it no longer is a shortcut because when everybody does it, everybody fucking does it. Everybody stays on it. Everybody continuously undo it. Because if you don't continually undoing it, your work and your effort will go numb. You'll go nowhere. So if you're curious, look at my school. I'm keeping it free for the next 2 months. After that, I'm going to put a price tag on it. And yes. So take a look at it if you're curious. If you want to know more, take a look at it. Let me know in the comments. But at the same time, not all humans immediately do it because that shortcut becomes no longer available. So whatever that shortcut is, we know what we have to do.
becomes a shortcut. It's just a thing that everyone does, and it's not really a thing anymore. Like we learned how to tie knots. That was a big breakthrough. And then everyone ties their shoes, and they're like, oh my God, let me show you the shortcut to this. It's like, oh, you tie, like, oh my God, everyone does it, and it's like not a thing anymore, right? And so all the things that you want to have that most people don't have shortcuts.
That most people don't have is they don't have shortcuts. When you do a shortcut, you do not get anywhere besides the pride, the agony, the pain. Whatever you get that so-called thing out of it. So, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take a look at my school. I'm keeping it free for the next 2 months. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.